Ilia Topuria, how he can be lightweight #1 in the world? He cannot be. He did only one fight. I have 19 fights in lightweight. Like, I beat former champions, I beat champions, and I think my resume is like better than him.
Usman Nurmagomedov has made some shocking claims in his recent interview. The Bellator lightweight champion believes that he is a better lightweight than Ilia Topuria. Usman Nurmagomedov claims his lightweight resume is stronger than Ilia Topuria's, arguing that Topuria only has one fight in the division while he already has years of experience at lightweight. He points out that he is already a champion and says once he beats Paul Hughes in the rematch, he will call himself the best lightweight in the world.
Come on, brother. Ilia Topuria, how he can be lightweight #1 in the world? He cannot be. He did only one fight. I have 19 fights in lightweight.
And undefeated.
I have 25. No, like, I beat former champions, I beat champions, and I think my resume is like better than him. He have only 15 or 14, 13. How many fights he have?
I think 14. I think that's the number.
Yeah, but I have 14 finished in my career.
Absolutely. So after Islam wins the welterweight title, then you can officially declare yourself the #1 lightweight.
After when I will finish this guy, I will call myself I'm the best lightweight.
Paul Hughes also admits he won't call himself the best lightweight until Islam Makhachev moves up to welterweight and wins the belt. When asked if he now considers himself the top lightweight, Usman Nurmagomedov says he will wait, explaining that as long as Islam remains at lightweight, the title of best still belongs to him. He adds that only after Islam moves to welterweight and captures that belt will the discussion be settled.
With Islam moving to welterweight, do you now believe you are the best lightweight in the world?
We'll see. I don't want to put myself to the lightweight because of Islam still in lightweight. He's not moving. After when he will moving, let's see.
However, Islam Makhachev makes it clear he still has unfinished business at lightweight. At a recent press conference, when asked if he would drop back down to 155 to face Ilia Topuria and destroy him to finally shut him up, Makhachev gave a savage response that instantly fired up the crowd.
Также хотел бы попросить тебя вернуться в легкий вес, чтобы ты уничтожил Топурию, и он наконец-то заткнулся и не говорил ничего о бойцах из Дагестана. Ислам Макхачев чемпион!
Как ты хочешь, все сделаем.
At a recent press conference, Islam Makhachev stated that once he takes care of Jack Della Maddalena, he aims for a potential super fight with Ilia Topuria. He admits that the matchup excites him and hints that it could become one of the biggest champion versus champion clashes in UFC history.
Твой следующий бой после Маддалены пройдет в 77?
Не могу сказать точно. Есть с Топурией какая-то интрига. Мне самому тоже интересен этот бой. Может получится сделать какой-то супер бой. Или, как я сказал, посмотрим по весу.
On the other hand, Ilia Topuria has also expressed his desire to face Islam Makhachev, but this time at welterweight. He makes it clear that ruling 2 divisions isn't enough for him, as he has his sights set on becoming a 3-division champion. If Islam wins the welterweight title, Ilia wants to chase him there, showing just how bold and ambitious he is in his pursuit of greatness and legacy.
If Islam becomes the welterweight world champion, for sure I'm gonna push for that shot also. And I will move to the welterweight division.
Ilia Topuria reveals why he wants to fight Islam Makhachev at welterweight instead of lightweight. He made it clear his ambitions go far beyond one division. He is aiming to conquer 170 and capture a 3rd UFC title, proving he's not just after victories, but chasing true greatness.
Islam Makhachev did an interview and said he's not ruling out coming back down to 155. Would you rather fight him at 170 to get that 3rd title, or would you be willing to fight him at 55 because that's the division that people say he might be the best at?
It would be much better for me to fight him in 170, and I will beat him and get the 3rd title.
Meanwhile, Islam Makhachev discusses his weight and says he feels comfortable at welterweight. At the Eagle FC press conference, he reveals that before his last camp, he was walking around at 183 to 185 pounds. But now, with better training and nutrition, he sits closer to 189. He explains that this range makes him feel strong and sharp while sparring natural welterweights, and adds that putting on extra size is no longer his main focus. focus since camp work has already prepared him for the division.
Islam, what is your weight now? How much did your weight change, and how did your physical condition, your physical preparation change? You know, up until last camp, I think my weight was about 83, 84, but now with the right regimen, with the right diet, my weight is now 86 and a half. Yesterday was 86 and a half. I think right now I'm where I need to be. I'm at the right weight. I'm at the place where I feel comfortable with working out, sparring, and working with the guys that usually fight at 77. To continue to gain the weight from now on is not necessarily the goal of mine. I mean, it might go up by 1 or 2 kgs in training still, but we've already done plenty of work during this camp with heavyweights to make sure to gain the proper weight that we need.
Islam Makhachev further speaks on a possible return to lightweight after his welterweight debut. He admits that making 155 has never been easy and says the decision will depend on how his body reacts after the fight. He explains that if his weight climbs to 85 or 86 kilos, he and his team will have to sit down and figure out the next step.
That being said, would you ever consider going back down to lightweight? Because with everything you said, most likely cutting weight is going to be only harder. Depends on how much weight I'll gain after the fight. So if I'm going to go up to 83 or 84, that's possible. But if I'll go up to 85, 86, then I'm not sure. I mean, it was never an easy thing to cut weight. So we'll have to sit down with the team and we'll have to figure out what the next move is.
Islam Makhachev also reacts to Ilia Topuria taking his #1 pound-for-pound spot by calling it a marketing move. He says the UFC is doing it deliberately to build hype for their potential fight, and while he disagrees with it, he understands the strategy. Makhachev makes it clear that when they meet, the real top pound-for-pound fighter will be decided inside the cage.
Что ты думаешь по поводу того, что тебя сместили внезапно с первой строчки pound for pound?
Ну, это маркетинг. Они делают это специально, чтобы разогреть этот бой. Ну, у людей уже есть интерес к этому. Значит, они делают правильно, и мы будем бороться за первое место в рейтинге.
On the other hand, UFC legend Daniel Cormier spoke about the explosive potential of a clash between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev, suggesting their rivalry could capture global attention. He hinted that both fighters might need each other to reach true superstardom, setting up a storyline fans would be invested in every step of the way.
And I was talking to someone today about it. I said, while I may not have the greatest relationship with Conor McGregor, partly because of Khabib and his relationship with Conor McGregor, I respect and appreciate him for being that guy for my brother Khabib. Because without Conor McGregor, Khabib doesn't go to the moon. Right? You need that guy. And I think Ilia Topuria and Islam might be that for each other. So while you may not like each other, you may need each other to go to the next level. So I appreciate Conor for helping Khabib achieve the life that he has today. Because before the Conor McGregor fight, he was great. We all loved him on the mixed martial arts level. Right after Conor McGregor, he was a global superstar.
Alexander Volkanovski also shares his thoughts on a potential clash between Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria, saying Islam's all-around skill set makes him extremely dangerous, but Ilia's explosive knockout power is the real wild card. Volk explains that Ilia's ability to finish a fight instantly is what makes the matchup so exciting and unpredictable for fans.
How would you see that fight going between Islam and Ilia?
Yeah, I mean, like Islam's really good, you know what I mean? But again, Ilia's the type of guy that he could knock out anyone. So he's got power in them hands, you know what I mean? Everyone knows that. You go in there, fight him, you know that that's his chance of winning.
Alexander Volkanovski, having shared the cage with both Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev, warns Ilia about the brutal strength Islam carries. Volk opens up about the experience of facing Islam, stressing how powerful and dangerous he truly is. He notes the difference between Ilia's knockout power and Islam's overall impact, adding another layer of intrigue to Islam's striking threat and what it could mean in a potential matchup.
From the Islam, I feel like I had more of a concussion from the Islam one.
Yeah,
even though I was knocked out longer with Ilia, like I had a lot more of the symptoms than that with the Islam one. So I probably should have had
I
more
think
of
the
a break.
protocol.
Alexander Volkanovski also reflected on his fight with Ilia Topuria and admitted he took it too soon. He said the knockout was simply the reality of what happened and made clear he wasn't taking anything away from Ilia. Volk acknowledged Ilia's power, noting he had never been completely knocked out like that before and was out for a couple of minutes after getting clipped clean. He described how one strong connection was enough to shut him off, showing just how dangerous Ilia's striking really is.
I go in too early and I get knocked out, I lose my belt. Yeah, and that's the fact, and that's what happened. Like, I'm not taking anything away from Ilia, but I mean, I'm just saying that that's what can happen. Like, so I got a crazy shin to the noggin, and obviously Ilia can hit hard. We've seen that, but I mean, I've never been just completely lights out like that. I was lights out for a couple of minutes, and he got me in the cheek, but I just was like, you know, as soon as there was one good connection. Snoring.
Is he the hardest hitter, you reckon? Do you fought?
I don't know. Can't remember.
Meanwhile, Dana White also teased the possibility of a massive showdown between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev, calling it the kind of fight that could light up the entire sport. He hinted that if everything lines up, it would be a moment fans worldwide would be counting down for, showing just how huge this matchup could become.
Fuck, what?
Another massive fight would be Ilia versus Islam too.
Of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, Salim is obsessed with that fight.
Oh, really?
He's obsessed with it. And I tell him, I'm like, but they both got to win more fights in their division first, right? That's kind of how you do it, right? When it's like they both run through their division, and then it's like you're in the position where it's like, I got to make this. That's what happened with Volk Islam, right?
Well, the other thing is, too, is that Islam moves up, and obviously if Islam won the title, you know, you immediately have a super fight with him and Ilia. So
could that be, if Islam gets one victory, could that potentially happen?
You have to see. It's one thing to sit around. This is what the media always tries to do, sit around and talk about these fights before they happen, or, you know, hypothetically speaking. I don't like hypothetical. These are options that we have if things play out that way, but you never know what's going to happen.
Dustin Poirier also weighed in on the idea of a super fight between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev, calling it a big stretch because of the size difference. He admitted Ilia has the power and skill to knock out anyone from featherweight to welterweight, but pointed out that Islam is a big lightweight with world-class wrestling. Poirier suggested Ilia should focus on defending his belt at 155 a few times before thinking about moving up to face someone like Islam.
Who do you think should be next for Ilia?
Who should be next for Ilia? 55 has always been so cloudy at the top. Maybe Gaethje. I think him going to 170 to fight Islam, if Islam wins, is a stretch. You know, Islam's big, man. I've never seen Ilia in person, but he seems smaller. I know obviously he can knock anyone out. I do think if they fight, Ilia can knock anybody out from 45 to 170. He has the skills, the power, the technique, and but we've just never seen him in there with somebody that big and somebody with that caliber of wrestling. But I think he should defend the 55 title a few times before that's talked about. We'll see.
Similarly, Michael Chandler broke down a possible fight between Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria, pointing out Islam's size advantage. He credited Ilia with better striking, highlighting his patience and knockout power, but warned that once Islam takes the fight to the ground, his grappling and strength could take over. Chandler leaned toward Islam as the favorite because of his size, experience, and championship defenses, though he admitted Ilia is dangerous enough that he can't be ruled out.
If Islam fights Ilia, I mean, I think there's definitely a size difference. I think Ilia is a lot smaller than Islam. Islam is a big lightweight, a tall lightweight, and he's good in every area. However, Ilia's definitely got the edge in the striking department, and Ilia is very, very, very patient. Now, if he's able to not get taken down and he's able to just patiently break down Islam with those big shots that he lands, the big punches that he lands, it's going to be a good night for Ilia. But I think if Islam gets his hands on him and gets him taken down, I mean, grappling with 145-pounders is a lot different than grappling with Islam, who is one of the best grapplers that we've seen in a very long time. He's strong. He's great at doing damage and getting good positions. I'd have to give the edge to Islam just by size, by strength of schedule thus far, and defending the belt, but I wouldn't count Ilia out.
Meanwhile, Islam Makhachev believes that until he returns to lightweight, the fight that makes the most sense is Ilia Topuria versus Arman Tsarukyan. He explained that Arman has already proven himself as a top contender and deserves the shot. Makhachev added that if Tsarukyan comes in with the right mindset, he has the skills to beat Ilia.
На твой взгляд, сейчас самый справедливый бой за чемпионство в легком весе между Ильей Топурией и Арманом Царукяном?
Ну да, конечно. Если кто-то когда-то, не знаю, в истории страховал бой, делал вес, он всегда дрался почти. Ну, я не помню в истории, чтобы не давали бой. Арман сделал последний турнир вес, подстраховал бой. И я думаю, он должен быть следующий. Он доказал, что у него же была проблема с весогонкой. Он доказал, что может спускаться, гонять вес. И я думаю, что это самый актуальный бой на данный момент.
У кого было бы больше всего шансов на победу?
Ну, я думаю, если честно, если Арман выйдет с правильным настроем, то он справится.
Charles Oliveira also agreed with Islam Makhachev and said Arman Tsarukyan should be the next challenger for Ilia Topuria's title. He pointed out that Arman is the #1 contender and has already earned his shot. Oliveira reminded everyone that Arman was previously scheduled to fight for the belt but had to withdraw due to injury, which makes him the rightful choice now.
A lot of people trying to get that pro spot to fight for the belt. Who would you imagine would be an interesting fight that would perhaps cause Topuria some difficulty?
Man, I'm not going to say difficult or interesting. I think the guy who deserves this is Arman, the #1 in the rankings. So Arman deserves this fight, you know? He's waiting there to fight for the title. I had it, he got injured, he pulled out. So I think it's Arman. To wrap things up,
Khamzat Chimaev also said the fight between Ilia Topuria and Arman Tsarukyan needed to happen this year. He called it the perfect matchup, with Arman's wrestling against Ilia's striking showing who was really the best. Although close to both fighters, Khamzat admitted he would be eager to watch them face each other in the cage.
We know you're kind of friends with Ilia too, and you know you're friends with Arman. Do you see them fighting this year?
I hope so. It's a good fight for the both guys. So fighting is, we need to know who is the best fighter in the world. So the both guys is best fighters now. So I will be happy to watch that fight. Yeah, it's a crazy fight. Arman is good moves. Like he has a good kick, good wrestling, and the other guy has a good jiu-jitsu, a good puncher. You know, so it would be cool to watch that fight.
Arman Tsarukyan also hinted at a possible title fight with Ilia Topuria while noting he was still waiting for confirmation from the UFC. He even joked that Chael Sonnen might know more about the situation than he did. In his view, Ilia was avoiding the matchup because of the risk it carried, choosing instead to chase easier, high-profile opponents rather than defend the belt against him.
I wanna fight for the title. I've been waiting so long, and Chael Sonnen maybe knows something.
Do you know if those conversations about a title fight are ongoing with the UFC?
They didn't tell anything yet to me. So I'm just still waiting, training, and trying to call out Ilia as much as possible. So, but
yeah, we've seen some of the tweets towards Ilia. They've been funny. I enjoyed the duck video that you did. What do you make of the fact that he says he would rather give up the belt than fight you? That you just don't deserve it. He doesn't want to.
I mean, he feels that he's gonna lose that fight, and it's better to give the belt and then like go up or like wait when what happened with me, because he knows just I'm a big problem for him, and I'm gonna get his title. He knows that, and he wants to get easy fights with Perry or Gage or with someone. Just make money and do defend. But with me,
that wraps up everything from today's video. Share your thoughts about Usman's statement in the comments below, and also let us know what you think about Ilia versus Islam happening or not.